What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us out. Much appreciated. You're beautiful. I love you. Hit subscribe. If you don't, that would hurt my feelings. Although I guess I'm not going to chase all you. How would I know? How would I know who's hurting my feelings by not subscribing? Didn't think about that mystery. Anyway, finally, Fangs up, dude. OnlyFangs is open for business. Vic Fangio has officially been announced as the Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator. It's been a long time coming, a long chase with old Fangs, who was coordinating with consulting with the Philadelphia Eagles to help their offense prepare for the Super Bowl. He did not get his Super Bowl ring for 2 weeks, but it was a hell of a game. Hey, you know what? Hope Fangs had fun. Hope Fangs had fun as he was, leaving the Dolphins out to dry for weeks and supposedly taking other interviews, making everybody crazy for multiple days. But you're here. And now Vic Fangio can join Mike McDaniel after, some nice R&R, and maybe he'll take in the Heat game with Mike McDaniel the next time around. I don't know. But it finally puts to rest what was, a fun, interesting chase in the offseason. And even after he was initially reported to take the job, and then he was reportedly flirting with a bunch of other jobs, and then they said no, he's officially taking the job, and now he's officially official after this little Eagles stint. So that's great news that the Dolphins do get their defensive coordinator, and hope that it helps, that it brings some nice wrinkles to this team, and I think everybody looks at the parts all around, and certainly there could be some improvements at linebacker and things like that. And there are still some questions in the secondary, but you talk about some of the young foundational pieces that he has with Wilkins and Javon Holland and Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. You imagine Sealer's going to still be around, and Xavier Howard a little bit healthier. This guy has the makings, Kader Kahu, Brandon Jones healthy, Nick Needham healthy. A lot of these guys, it feels like he's going to have the pieces to make this a pretty excellent defense. So that's a very, very encouraging thing to get the compliment going for this team and what they're going into in a year where they really got to build on some things, and what's going to be a really fascinating offseason for this entire division. And, it'll be interesting to see what the Jets could end up doing when, Aaron Rodgers gets off this ayahuasca darkness retreat thing, a natural DMT stimulating trip, and we'll figure out what his spirits tell him as far as the next part of his career. And I do think that it's going to be interesting, where if he goes there, I can understand the Jets feeling really froggy with getting a multiple time MVP, a Super Bowl champion quarterback, even old and even maybe not being what he was. That's still going to invigorate that fan base, invigorate that team in a big, big way, especially with all the unrest that they went in. And then for the Miami Dolphins fan, you're just sitting here and I think there is the majority, which I think is just hoping that, Tua Tagovailoa stays healthy. I think that there is another contingent that's worried and would be happy to see, some kind of a move be made, and maybe that move being, I don't know, in the long shot area of it being Lamar Jackson. This is where I stand on all of it, man. I understand the quarterback situation is going to be a thing because of Tua's durability and because Tua has missed time every single season. Those are just the facts. I just think that it's silly to go after lateral moves in the idea that, this is better than hitting on our number 5 overall pick. And if you come at me, I saw there was a column today in the Miami Herald about Lamar Jackson. And though I know Lamar Jackson has had some durability issues, at least you're selling me on an elite player, and you're telling me, he's a hometown kid, he's one of the most electric players in football. Look, I still want to see Tua out. I'm a big Tua supporter, but all right, I'll hear you out. At least we're getting creative. We're taking a big home run cut. I heard this thing that was circulating on NFL Network with Peter Schrager, where he was sitting here trying to tell me that, if the Dolphins get Derek Carr, are they not one of the class of the AFC? And I'm just sitting here and being like, how could you possibly say that? Like, how could you say that in regards to Derek Carr and a guy that his own team wouldn't let him even finish out the season? A team that's pretty much underwhelmed with having a lot of skill position talent, and made a huge cut this year in getting Devontae Adams. And I get it. Like, they've had some unrest with coaches and had Mike Mayock and John Gruden, that whole clown show. Josh McDaniels this year. But, for me, I'm like looking at that. I'm like, all right, Derek Carr is a nice quarterback. Don't get me wrong. If I'm in the situation that New Orleans is in, or Indianapolis, or someplace that is just really searching and just has bare bones, they have nothing, of course, bring in Derek Carr. But if you're going to tell me that I'm bringing in a guy to replace the guy who led the league in QBR because of unlucky bounces of his head, that's the answer. Derek Carr. And not only that, you think that's the answer, but you think that answer makes the Dolphins one of the favorites in the AFC. I just think, one, you're just saying stuff because you're making Derek Carr out to be something that he's not. And two, I just think that you have to be really sure to make a move like that. I do think that it's like you have to be positive that if you're going to go and move on from quarterback after what you saw talent-wise from Tua last year, the relationship that he has with the head coach, the chemistry that he has with the receivers, the way he makes that offense move when he's healthy. I understand the caveat everybody's always going to scream in the comments with. Go ahead. I'm giving everybody the durability thing there. I'm talking about a talent here, and I'm talking about, what you're actually going to move on to. I just think for me, that can't be the name that I'm going to. Like, out of all the names that are out, all right, Tom Brady, I think he's old as hell. I'm not into ever having Tom Brady as a quarterback. I'm glad he retired. But, all right, at least he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Aaron Rodgers, at least he's one of the most decorated quarterbacks of all time. And Lamar Jackson, he's one of the most exciting football players in the league. Derek Carr is good. He's like, it honestly to me would be like getting Ryan Tannehill back. Like, that's what it would be like to me. Maybe a little bit more of a gunslinger, maybe a little bit more fun, but not much better. Not like his teams have been pretty pedestrian to fine most of his career, like Ryan Tannehill's. And to me, I just think bringing that in to replace a guy who you drafted number 5 overall, who has led the league in quarterback in QBR, who looked like he was figuring some things out this year, your answer can't be, I'm going to go back to what you guys had for 7 years. You can't. That just can't be the answer for me. That can't be good enough. So I thought that was dumb by Peter Schrager to say that, and I did not agree with it. Also, I did see a new odds list come out for Dalvin Cook, and the Dolphins are once again a favorite for landing a big-time running back in, I believe that they were the favorite as opposed to, I think the Vikings were the favorite in coming to keep him, but the team, if it was a new team to get him, it would be the Miami Dolphins, which would be kind of goosies galore. I'm not going to lie. The Dolphins don't have any running backs signed up for this year. There was a piece in ESPN written about this by Marcel Louis-Jacques, and it was basically discussing the decision that the Dolphins have to make at running back. And, Mostert obviously has a huge relationship, a long relationship with the coach, as did Jeff Wilson. I could see both. I don't think either one of them is going to command huge dollars, so I could certainly see one or both of them coming back. But I don't think it's, for me, this is the one where I'm like, all right, if you were to look around on the offense, on the skills, like where are they really going to move? Because they're going to definitely move in a direction different in tight end, right? There was a report this week. I think it was Jordan Schultz who reported that Mike Gesicki was one of the most buzzed about names in the around the Super Bowl parts, and people think that he can be on the regular of 70 to 80 catches a year. But, so I'm bracing myself for the Dolphins moving on from Mike Gesicki as I think he is. As I think the fan base knows that he is likely gone. So it would be, wild for the Dolphins to get, like, at one point this in the offseason, they were the odds-on favorite to get Saquon Barkley. That's pretty crazy. Even ESPN wrote about it. It says if the Dolphins want to make a splash at running back, they have to do it. Right now they're projected at $12.7 million over the cap, but they can get back it with restructures. Saquon Barkley is the biggest name in the market, but the Giants are likely to let him walk. Same goes for Raiders running back Josh Jacobs, who led the NFL in rushing yards. Both players likely to command more than $13 million per year. The Dolphins are not bogged down by a franchise quarterback contract, so they could get away with something in the short term, but it could backfire if they do not win a Super Bowl while Tua is on his rookie deal. But with Dalvin Cook, there's a lot of talk that he's also they're going to want to, because the Vikings are in a bit of a cap hell. They got to move some money around so that they probably have to move on from Dalvin. Now, I'd imagine he's going to command a lot of money too. Could there be, I don't know if I don't think he's doing hometown discount at his age or anything like that, but it would be an interesting thing to check out. It brings a great versatility, owns that stadium, and certainly could be something really cool. Kareem Hunt is another one that was mentioned by ESPN here, as he's been wanting out of Cleveland. He requested a trade this year. They didn't go through with that, so maybe this is the year where they actually move on from Kareem Hunt, and he's out on the market. I think, wasn't there even some flirtation this year between him and Tyreek Hill? So maybe that'll be a thing. I don't know, but a lot of interesting questions out there as far as the offseason is concerned, and everything's kind of fallen into place now that we are in the post Super Bowl era. The Chiefs having their parade today, so everybody's got to move on, clean slate.